Hello, children. Today, let us learn the lesson The Making of a Scientist from the text Footprints Without Feet. This lesson is the story of a scientist named Richard H. Ebright. It is interesting to read about how Ebright became a scientist. He had a habit of collecting butterflies, rocks, fossils, and coins from his childhood. His curiosity and a will to win for the right reasons made him successful. Now let's go into the details of the lesson. The Making of a Scientist is a story about the leading scientist Richard Ebright. He was a curious child right from the early years of his life. He had started collecting butterflies in his childhood, and by the time he was in his second grade, he had collected all the 25 species of butterflies found around his hometown. He also collected coins, fossils, and rocks. He was an eager astronomer too. He used to gaze at the sky at night. One day his mother gave him a children's book called The Travels of Monarch X. This book has been a turning point in his life and introduced him to the world of science. At the end of this book, the readers were invited to help study of butterfly migrations. They were asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick. Soon, Richard got involved in tagging butterflies. The butterfly collecting season lasted for around 6 weeks. He was involved in this activity for several years. But then he started losing interest in tagging butterflies as it was a very slow and tiring process. It did not give him much response. When he was in the 7th grade, he came to know what real science was when he participated in a county science fair and lost. His entry in the fair was slides of frog tissues, which he showed under a microscope. He observed that the winners of the competition had tried to do real experiments. Now the competitive spirit developed within him. He wrote to Dr. Erichardt for ideas, and the doctor responded. Ebright got busy working on those ideas, and he won a number of prizes all through his high school. For his 8th grade project, Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease that killed nearly all monarch caterpillars every few years. He thought the disease might be carried by a beetle. He tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles, but he didn't get any real result. But this did not stop him from winning a prize for his experiment. The following year, his project was testing the theory that viceroy butterflies copy monarch butterflies. He put forward the theory that viceroy butterflies look like monarch butterflies. Monarchs do not taste good to the birds. On the other hand, viceroys did taste good to birds. So, the more the viceroy looked like monarchs, the less likely they would be eaten by a bird. This project won him the first place in the zoology division and third overall in the county science fair. During his second year of high school, Richard began a research that led to his discovery of an unknown insect hormone. It led to his new theory on the life of cells. The question he tried to answer was, what was the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? He proved that the spots were not just ornamental, but were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. This project won Ebright first place in the county fair and entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. He continued his work with the monarch pupa as a high school junior, and that led him to win the first prize at the International Science Fair. After winning this prize, he also got a chance to work at the Army laboratory during the summer. Then, during his senior year, he tried another experiment in which he grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that cells would divide and develop into a normal butterfly wing scales provided they were treated with the hormone from the gold spots. This research won him the first prize at the international fair. He continued working on the hormone from the gold spots, and a year and a half later, he got the idea of his new theory about cell life. His years of study on the insect hormone had solved one of the puzzles of biology. It had solved the mystery of how cells read the blueprint of its DNA. He found that the DNA is in the nucleus of a cell and that controls heredity. It determines the form and function of a cell. Thus, DNA is the blueprint for life. Ebright and his college roommate, James R. Wong, worked together on their finding and later wrote this paper that explained the theory. After Ebright joined Harvard Medical School, he conducted experiments to test his theory. If his theory was proved correct, it would be a big step towards understanding the processes of life. His school research into the purpose of the spots of a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. Ebright also became a champion debater and public speaker, a good canoeist, an all-round outdoors person. He was also an expert photographer of nature and scientific exhibits. Ebright gave credit to Richard A. Weyherr, his social studies teacher, for opening his mind to new ideas. His teacher admits that Richard was competitive. He always wanted to do his best. The lesson ends with the writer pointing out to the qualities that go into the making of a scientist. That includes first-rate mind, which means a good mind, then curiosity, and finally, the will to win. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and comment for suggestions.